Hello traders, this is Jim Comiskey. It is Wednesday the 28th of March. We are coming up on about 1:30 in the afternoon. Give you some color on the metals complex amongst other things. First of all, the opinions that I am no doubt about to express are mine and mine alone and not necessarily shared by Archer Daniels Midland Investor Services. Okay, the gold is currently at 1661, down $27. Remember now, June is front month again. Symbol M as in Mary. All right, silver, July is at $31.99, down 68. You really can trade either May or July right now. The May's at $31.93, down 68. Okay, we have a big move in crude today. France announced overnight that they were considering opening up their strategic petroleum reserve as well. Okay, so crude down $2, and to be honest with you, that has been the driver today, no question about it. Crude has basically pulled the entire metals complex down. It's pulled the indexes down. We got the S&P down 13, Dow Jones down 122, et cetera, et cetera. Dollar's only up 15. Okay. Support and resistance. Gold, currently, we got the pivot at 1684. Okay, so that will act as first resistance. Okay, first support comes in at 1655.80. Okay, below that 1653. By the way, we're going to have first resistance rather is 1671 gold. Above that 1684. Okay, silver, currently once again at $32 even. All right, we're basically at support right here at $31.99. Below that, $31.73. Resistance comes in $32.22. Above that, $32.70. Pretty widespread. Okay, we had a 5-year note auction today. All right, just consult my notes. Treasury came at $35 billion in 5-year notes. Okay, high yield of 1.04%. So the reason I want to bring this up is twofold. Actually, the bid to cover on the auction, okay, which is a ratio of how many bids the Treasury receives versus how much they're actually selling. Okay, so a high bid to cover means there's a big demand for the issuance. This bid to cover was the lowest since August of last year. It came in at 2.85%. All right. Now tomorrow, Treasury finishes with their quarterly refunding. They come with $39 billion in 3-year notes. Okay. So now this, when they're done, yes, tomorrow. Okay, the debt ceiling is now at a fresh record of, or our debt level rather, of $15.6 trillion. All right, so we've got about, at this burn rate, well, we've got about $700 billion in debt issuance capacity before we reach the debt ceiling again. And at this burn rate, that we're going to reach it about 2 months before the election. Okay, so look for the debt ceiling once again to be a major issue during the election. Speaking of debt, on Zero Hedge, there's an absolutely brilliant short video. A gentleman named Professor Anthony Davies. He basically, the headline of it is How to Fund the Government This Year. Okay, now, this is astounding. Okay, but I got a question to all of you guys. Okay, how much money do you think the United States government spends in an hour? Okay, 60 minutes time. U.S. government, how much does it spend? You're not even going to be close, unless you've seen this video. $434 million an hour. Okay, that's $434 million an hour. All right, I'm just going to kind of summarize this gentleman's video if you don't get a chance to go see it. Okay, now, bottom line is, if the government took in $2.2 trillion in taxes, which they do, okay, but on January 1st, okay, well, first of all, they spend $3.8 trillion, but that $2.2 trillion only gets the government funded through July 31st. All right, and they spend $3.8 trillion. This year, that's a $1.6 trillion deficit. Now, Professor Davies basically goes on to how can we fund the government from July 31st to December 31st? Well, if we eliminate the Navy, NASA, the Army, the Air Force, the Marines, nuclear weapons, defense research, veteran services, Fed funding for police and fire protection, Congress, the White House, give it all of it. Okay? It would fund the government through D16, December the 16th. Leaves us a couple weeks to go yet. All right. The only things that are left, that would be left for the government to do, okay, would be pay Social Security and take care of Medicare and Medicaid and the interest on the debt. Literally. It's an incredible video. Go to Zero Hedge. How to fund the government this year. Okay, it was posted today at 12:44 Eastern. It's good stuff. Scary stuff. I must have used the term vampire squid a while back. A gentleman called me and was laughing about that. Let's clarify that. That's kind of a nickname for Goldman Sachs. I don't even know what context I used it, but yeah, the street kind of knows them as the vampire squid. And there's a lot of reasons for this. Okay, most notably, that's just the revolving door that is Goldman Sachs and governments, and it's not just the United States. Okay, I got this from Wikipedia now. Okay. This is just they're involved in, say, the European sovereign debt crisis. All right, now, Lucas Papadimos, Greece's new prime minister, he ran the Central Bank of Greece. This is someone using that term just reminded me of this. I wanted to go back over it. He ran the Central Bank of Greece at the time of the controversial derivatives deals with Goldman Sachs that enabled Greece to hide the size of its debt. Okay, Petros Christodopoulos, head of Greece's debt management agency, began his career at Goldman Sachs. And let's just go on. Mario Monti, Italy's new prime minister and finance minister, was an international advisor to Goldman Sachs. Otmar Issing, former board member of Bundesbank and the executive board of the European Bank. Mario Draghi, the new head of the European Central Bank, was a former managing director of Goldman Sachs International. Okay, Antonio Borges, former head of the IMF's European Department, was a former vice chairman of Goldman Sachs. Peter Sutherland, former Attorney General of Ireland, is a non-executive director of Goldman Sachs. Carol Van Mert, former EU Competition Commissioner, is an ex-international advisor to Goldman. These ties with Goldman Sachs and European leaders are an ongoing source of controversy. That's our side of the pond. Mark Carney, he's been a governor of the Bank of Canada since 2008. He was a former director of Goldman Sachs. It's the vampire squid. It's an actual animal, by the way. How are we doing time? Cool. A gentleman asked me to comment on the dollar. Okay. And, relative to basically, oversold, overbought, et cetera, et cetera. And I figured I'd kind of review, the dollar index in and of itself. Okay. And then we'll just kind of talk about it briefly. But the dollar index now has been around since March of '73. It's traded on the ICE exchange. Okay, basically it's composed of 58% is the dollar versus the euro. Okay, 13% against the yen, 11% pound sterling, 9% the CAD Canadian dollar, 4.2% Swedish krona, and 4% Swiss franc. Okay, so. The dollar obviously is an anti-euro, the dollar index. Okay, now, is it oversold? Is it overbought? Let's put it into context. Now, when the dollar was floated in March 1973, when the dollar index, okay, is after the dismantling of Bretton Woods, which is interesting. You might want to Google Bretton Woods. It started at par. It started trading at 100 versus the basket, as what logic would dictate. All right, its high has been 148.12 in February of '85. Its low 70.698. Okay, in March 16th of 2008. All right, during the crisis. Okay, 70.698. Dollar right now is at 79.36. Okay, so in terms of context, the dollar is at almost its weakest level since '73. Okay, hence you have gold at almost all-time highs, silver. Well off its high, obviously, but still historically quite high. Crude oil, very high. Let's not even talk about unleaded gas, but there's other factors that go into unleaded pricing, taxes, the geopolitical situation, which also obviously would factor into the price of crude as well. But in terms of, I mean, again, dollar's very weak. Is it oversold? Well, what I tell people is, you know what, it's oversold for a reason. Okay, you've got Helicopter Ben and the boys cranking up the printing presses. Okay, so there's never been this many dollars in circulation. Okay, it's just that during the height of the '08 financial collapse, the dollar was a lot weaker for different reasons. Okay, as are obvious. Okay, but now if you would like to contact me, that'd be great. Okay, my toll-free number is 888-935-7979. My outside number, if you're trying to call from overseas, is 312-242-7996. Or if you'd like to leave a comment on the YouTube blog here, feel free. I'll endeavor to comment back, or reply to your comments rather, or shoot me an email, jim.comiskey, okay, COMISKEY, at archerfinancials.com. And, look forward to hearing from you guys, okay? I like a two-way flow of communication, as you can tell from my replies to your comments, okay? I look forward to talking to you soon. Take care.